Hi guys, good morning. So there was a post about electromagnetic building and gravity and its effects on human beings. This is in my book where I talk about, we're right now, I'm in Phoenix, so I'm probably going about 900 miles an hour here as we're spinning on Earth. At the equator, we're 1,000. When you're working with gravity, we need that interrotation. The aha, I was working with someone's calf muscle. I could feel that inner rotation, very similar to a hand gyroscope or any kind of exterior rotation. When I offer rotation, I get rotation. So I knew at that point, not only did the Earth's rotation matter through my system, but the fact that the Earth had to also have had gyroscopic function as well, and that's what I'm countering off. Very similar to a bicycle, right? Bicycle's a little bit different because that's a percussive force versus gravitational binding force. Yes, the cores do go in opposite directions. It's all connected at different levels, and we need that organization. Just as I say, if we go out to other planets, all that organization is going to be changed immediately to our nervous system. And so our nervous system has to adapt to these changes. How? Through rotation and opposition. Can't get to Mars without me, because I mean this sincerely. If they do not understand what it takes for our bodies to move, or this plant, it comes into effect through our system, and our system needs those things. So when you're working with a system and it's in between that rotation, whether it's a house floating, and one of the big things that I go against are like these swings, and worse, there's a thing called the mamaroo. It looks like an egg. Like, that's the worst thing you can put a baby in, because you're organizing the nervous system without that oppositional to gravity and without the rotation. You can't switch a force to force. So if I have centripetal force versus gravitational force, and I have a 1G force, I can measure me on a scale and say, well, I'm still 180 pounds or whatever. That's not the way we organize against it. That's just a mass weight differential, and we're trying to match it up using other stimuli. That doesn't mean we organize off of centripetal force. We organize off of gravitational rotational binding force, right? That's a completely different circumstance. So yes, it might be cool or necessary to have a house floating, let's say in an earthquake zone, that you are sound and safe that way. It will affect your nervous system. If I spin around with you and you cling to me, but if you're impaired, you will fall away from me. That binding force is broken, and therefore that connection is not there. So that's where Newton is a little bit off when you say that like attracts like. Yes, he's correct. Like attracts like. But what you're looking at is two human beings standing next to each other. We should be able to work within. No, if that human being has had a stroke, or that human being is doing oxycodone, I can tell you right now that bind is not there. So we can't look at something topically and say like attracts like. No two humans are the same for a reason. And that's why we have to look at the way the astronauts are within this organization, evaluate them differently, and also their, what we call an exercise program, has to be done to their nervous system as how they're going to withstand the lack of these forces. I hope that makes sense. Thanks. Have a great weekend. Bye.